Varragoth Bloodsky Sire Brawl deck. Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, Magic fan, Brawl fan. I've got another Brawl deck tech video for you. This one is featuring Varragoth, the Bloodsky Sire. Yeah, I got the cool showcase art right here. I'm going to show you how to build like a pretty fun, death touch focused mono black deck on Brawl, which can be upgraded with just a little bit more effort for a full commander deck. So let's check it out. Alright, so I've got my Arena account pulled up right here, nicely organized and such. So the star of the deck is Varragoth Bloodsky Sire. 3 mana for legendary creature Demon Rogue, 2/3 Death Touch. So the big idea with this deck is a bunch of Death Touch creatures. I like to build decks that are very on theme in Brawl and Commander. I think that's a great way to have fun. That's like the spirit of Commander, to really express yourself in deck building in a less competitive format. Remember, Brawl and Commander are not competitive formats. It's about fun and self-expression. So anyway, it's a bunch of Death Touch creatures, and then I take advantage of this brand new ability, Boast, which is when this creature attacks, you can pay 2, target player, yourself of course, searches their library for a card, then shuffles it, and puts it on top. So this is a demonic tutor built into this card where you can go get whatever card you want and put it on the top of your library. I guess it's more like a vampiric tutor actually. So anyway, it goes to the top of the deck and then you can craft the perfect combo. And the big idea with this deck is I want to set up a very specific combo that is very fun, and I've got a way to do that with a little bit controlling the board and a variety of things like that. So let's check that out. Underworld Dreams is part of this puzzle. 3 mana, enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player. Okay, so they're going to get pinged once per turn when they draw their card, or if they're a pesky blue player or green player drawing a lot of cards, they're going to get more damage. Now, we want that because then we want to get the Peer into the Abyss. 7 mana, sorcery. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life, round up each time. So, do you see what we're doing here? We have the opponent lose life every time they draw a card. If we target the opponent with the Peer into the Abyss, they're going to draw half their library, lose a ton of life, and then continue to lose life as those cards are drawn, and it's an instant kill. It's a 2-card kill. Yes, it requires a little bit of setup, but wait, we can do the setup because Varragoth will let us go get the Underworld Dreams and the Peer into the Abyss and anything we want to be able to set up this combo. And because Varragoth is Death Touch and we've got other Death Touch creatures, we should be able to build that combo pretty well. We have Mirror Shield to protect Varragoth so that he is not targeted with direct removal, only 2 mana and 2 to equip, and then he gets a little bit stronger with the strength, so I like that. Also, it bounces back Death Touch, that if the opponent attacks and you block and Varragoth is mirror shielded, the Death Touch bounces back to the opponent. I love it. And we've also got Dogged Pursuit so that we can gain life at the end of the turn and then the opponent loses life. If worst case scenario and we're not able to fully set up the combo, we can Peer into the Abyss to ourselves, and we've probably accumulated a lot of life with Dogged Pursuit and such. You can even use that brand new fancy Elixir artifact to gain also more life. But that's going to be kind of the big idea for this deck here. Next up on the mana rocks, of course, we've got Arcane Signet, bit of an auto-include nowadays just to accelerate yourself. Heraldic Banner, 3 mana, gives you 1 mana of a chosen color. Obviously, you will select black, plus makes your black creature stronger, plus ramps you. Replicating Ring, I love this new mana rock. 3 mana, you tap it, gives you mana of any color. Put a counter onto it. When it's got 8 counters, it replicates himself, and suddenly you've got 9 mana suddenly. I like that. And Nyx Lotus comes into play tapped. It's 4 mana. You choose a color, obviously black, add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. So you're going to have a few black things on the battlefield, perhaps in Underworld Dreams, perhaps Varragoth, and you're going to just be adding a little bit more mana at a time just to get a ton of mana to much more easily cast the Peer into the Abyss. The perfect scenario is that you've got that Underworld Dreams, which can then easily let you cast that Peer into the Abyss even faster with that Nyx Lotus. To further craft your draws to get to these ultimate effects, we've got Mazemind Tome. 2 mana, tap it, put a page counter on it, and scry, so you see what's coming next. Or better yet, pay 2 mana, put a charge counter on it, and just draw the card. Once you've got those 4 counters on it, it exiles itself, and you gain 4 life. Alright, we've got a bunch of creatures to look at here. Foulmire Knight, it's a 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch. Okay, every creature's your Death Touch. You also can send it on an adventure to go draw you a card and lose a life. I like that. Thieves Guild Enforcer doesn't have Death Touch built in, but once the opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, it becomes a 3/2 with Death Touch. And guess what? When she flashes into the battlefield, you mill them for 2, so getting them there even faster. Typhoid Rats, just another 1 black, 1/1 Death Touch. Black Lance Paragon, this one's tricky. Flash in when you need it, give itself Death Touch, take down the strongest thing that they have, and gives itself Lifelink. Boot Nipper, 2 mana, 2/1, choose either Death Touch or Lifelink. You'll probably be choosing Death Touch most of the time, Lifelink if you need it. Fetid Imp, don't look too carefully at the art on this one or you'll get more grossed out than you already are. Anyway, 2 mana, it's a 1/2, it's a flying imp, pay 1 black and give it Death Touch until end of turn. Mire Triton, 2 mana, 2/1, mill yourself for 2, gain some life, and it's got Death Touch. Very freaky artwork by Seb McKinnon as always, non-stop bangers. Rune of Mortality, give a creature Death Touch, they've all got Death Touch, so double Death Touch, and it draws you a card. So here's the perfect scenario. You've Varragothed to go get that card on top of your library, then you cast the Rune of Mortality to get that card right into your hand. Perfect combo. Egon, God of Death, 3 mana, 6/6, Death Touch. The catch, of course, is that you then have to exile 2 cards, any 2 cards, out of your graveyard to keep Egon. That's not too complicated. Or summon it as the Throne of Death, where you mill yourself, pay 3, exile a creature from your graveyard to draw a card, if you need to do that, turn 1, and so forth. Hooded Blightfang, 3 mana, 1/4, Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life, so more of that life gain shenanigan. And check it out here, whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy it, so it's got Planeswalker Death Touch. Shadow Stinger, 3 mana, 1/4, Vampiric Rogue. It doesn't have Death Touch built in, but when you tap another untapped rogue you control, Shadow Stinger gains Death Touch until end of turn. So in a pinch you can tap your own Demon Rogue Varragoth, or most likely you're going to be tapping your Thieves Guild Enforcer to give this one some quick Death Touch. And when this deals combat damage to a player, they also mill 3 cards. Grim Dancer, 3 mana, 3/3. When it enters, choose either Menace, Death Touch, or Lifelink. 2 of those. So of course Death Touch and Lifelink would work great. Nighthawk Scavenger, 3 mana, 1 plus */3, the math equation of magic. Flying Death Touch, Lifelink. This has 1 plus the number of cards in graveyards the opponent's control types, so it's going to get big, don't worry. But anyway, it's a 1/3 at the worst, flying Death Touch, Lifelink, and it'll get way bigger as the opponent's graveyard gets filled up. Insatiable Hemophage, 4 mana, it's a 3/3 Nightmare with Death Touch, or mutate it for 3. When this creature mutates, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of times it mutated. There's only 1 mutate card here, so it'll just happen once. But I had a really funny time when a player played the Clackbridge Troll on me, gave me 3 trolls, but they didn't attack me because I had a Death Touch creature, and then I mutated the Hemophage on top of that 0/1 goat and attacked back at it with a 3/3 Death Touch goat. Vengeful Reaper, 4 mana, 2/3 flying, Death Touch haste, or foretell it. So sneak it away in the exile zone for 2 mana on turn 2, the opponent doesn't know what you have, and then on your turn you can pay it for 2 instead of 4, and you've got a Vengeful Reaper that is ready to fly, Death Touch, and haste. Now be careful, it doesn't have flash, so don't try to flash it in on the opponent's turn. It has haste for your turn. Alright, moving over to some removal. Tormod's Crypt, it's kind of the auto-include nowadays, dealing with people's graveyard shenanigans, 0 mana. I love playing this if I have it in the opening hand to play my 0 casting cost artifact to freak out my opponent, and then I play my land, tap it to exile the opponent's graveyard. Eat to Extinction, 4 mana, exile target creature or planeswalker, and then you surveil 1. You look at the top card, keep it there if you like it, or put it into graveyard if you don't. Feed the Serpent, 4 mana, instant, exile target creature or planeswalker, and Final Death, 5 mana, instant, exile target creature. Now, yes, this is a lot of expensive removal. You could put Cast Down, you can put Murder, you could put Murderous Rider for lower costs, of course. Now, these are all exile effects. People have a way to bring back stuff from their graveyard very easily in Brawl. So think about that yes, you could have Murder, but then they'll bring it back very easily. They could do their mutate creatures that bring stuff back from the graveyard. I think a final exile is going to be a better result than a simple destroy. It is expensive, but we've got the mana rocks to get into there, hopefully. We've also then got Extinction Event. I love this one. 4 mana, choose odd or even, exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. This hits your own creatures, be careful, but it also hits tokens, especially with some of these token decks that make a million of them. Choose even, because 0 is even, and all those tokens are gone. Shadow's Verdict, 5 mana, sorcery, exile all creatures and planeswalkers with converted mana cost of 3, mana value of 3 or less from the battlefield and graveyards. So it's a great board wipe out of the graveyard as well. It hits your own creatures, so be careful with your own smaller creatures, such as Varragoth himself. But you might have to do that if you do have to wipe the board with that Shadow's Verdict. Better yet, perhaps, Blood on the Snow, 6 mana, snow sorcery, choose one, destroy all creatures or destroy all planeswalkers. Now get this, then return a creature or planeswalker card with converted mana, mana value of X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of snow paid. Spoiler alert, the whole mana base is snow, so you'll be able to bring back anything that just got destroyed. I had so many games where I wiped the board completely, brought Varragoth right back out of the graveyard, back onto the battlefield, the opponent rage quits. I think there was even one time when I had like 2 life, and they had a full board, and then I'm like, yeah, Blood on the Snow, let's do it again. At the highest mana values, we've got Void Beckoner, 8 mana for a Nightmare Horror. It's an 8/8 with Death Touch, or you can cycle it for 3 mana. That is, draw another card instead of this if you're never going to be able to cast it. And then you put a Death Touch creature on your creature that's already got Death Touch. So big scary 8/8 at the very top here. And lastly, we've got Liliana Death Mage. 6 mana, 4 loyalty, +1, return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So if Varragoth dies, instead of back to the command zone where it gets more expensive, leave it in the graveyard. Lily will summon it back to your hand, cast Varragoth very easily next turn. Or some of these other great utility creatures that you've got in the graveyard, keep bringing them back and recurring them. Maybe you cycled away your Void Beckoner, but you can then bring it back with Liliana and summon it again. -3. Destroy target creature, its controller loses 2 life. So a destroy effect here that you can reuse over and over as you keep building her loyalty. And then the -7, this is pretty fun. Target opponent loses 2 life for each creature card in their graveyard, so it's X times 2. The more creatures are dead in their graveyard, and when you can ultimate Liliana, it's going to be a big ol' kill. And lastly is the mana base. It's just 26 swamps. I've gone with the snow-covered swamp, so we can have the synergy with Blood on the Snow. Plus the art on that is really nice. 26 mana is often recommended for a Brawl deck. I know you want to stick with 24 lands like a regular 60-card standard deck, but Brawl is a bit different. You need more mana. These are longer games. They're not as fast-paced as a standard deck, and you're going to need to cast your commander over and over, so more mana can guarantee that. And that was the Varragoth deck. What did you think? Are you going to have him as your own Bloodsky Sire? Let me know how you would upgrade the deck in the comments below. What would you add to it? What would you remove to it? How would you change it? How would you turn it into a full-fledged commander deck? If you liked the video, don't hesitate to head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos for exclusive stuff, starting at $1 per month. That's a great way to pledge to creators to really show them that you support their stuff. I would really appreciate it. Or simply follow for free on Patreon to be alerted to everything that I do, such as deck tech videos, magic shorts, live streams, comic book stuff, and more. Check it out, patreon.com/vmcampos. In the meantime, this has been VM Campos, and I'll see you on Kaldheim.